Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you've been watching me for a little bit, you may have noticed I slimmed down a little bit, and I told you guys I was going to talk about my mini cut. For a while I wanted to lose weight and I've been eating fairly healthy, but there was a few things that I was doing. I'm somebody who doesn't like to count calories because it's so tedious. It makes me not want to, I just don't want to do it. It doesn't make me want to eat healthy. It's something that I resist quite a bit. So I wasn't losing any weight. So I decided I was going to, for one day, count my calories. And I did. It turns out I was eating my maintenance calories, which is why I was staying at the same weight. I wasn't eating in a calorie deficit. I wanted to talk to you guys a bit about what I did and how little tiny swaps can actually make a huge difference. Omitting little things is not a big deal, so you don't have to deprive yourself. You can still stay relatively satiated and still lose fat. So to be honest, I don't know what my goal weight is because I've never built muscle like this before, and that makes a huge difference. This is why it's important not to solely focus on weight, because there are so many things to factor in when you're trying to reach a goal. I like to focus on like how I want to feel and how I want to look for body composition rather than my weight, because I used to weigh 200 pounds. Me at 150 pounds when I was 18 versus me at 150 pounds when I was in my early 30s, and me at 150 pounds now look completely different. This is why it's not always helpful to focus on weight. I definitely wanted to talk about why it sometimes can be harder if you're trying to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. It's not impossible. Obviously, you can do both, but you kind of get a little disheartened if the scale's not moving if you're doing both. I'm happy that I decided to lose weight first and then build muscle later, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have stayed on the healthy path. I would have given up. And I've talked about it before where I used to be 200 pounds and then I dropped down to 135 pounds and I looked good then, but I didn't have very much muscle on my body. So now I'm trying to build muscle. So I know what I look like at 135 pounds with no muscle, but with muscle, I don't know. So I think my goal is 145 pounds. It's gonna be between 135 and 145, but muscle weighs more than fat. Anyway, what I've been doing. So a few weeks ago, after I counted my calories and realized, okay, I wasn't in a deficit. So I had to switch what I was eating. I did use ChatGPT to help me a little bit. I wrote down everything that I was eating to make it a little bit easier for me. So my calorie dense foods that I was eating, this is where it's easier to lose weight, but it's also really easy to gain weight if you're not paying attention to what you're consuming. When I weighed 200 pounds, I wasn't eating very much, but everything I was eating was very calorie dense. So like potato chips, you have like this much in a bag, is like 400 calories, and it's not gonna keep you full. A muffin from Tim Hortons is 400 calories. Again, like you're gonna be hungry in an hour probably. What else was I eating? Obviously chocolate bars. Family size chocolate bar is like 700 to 900 calories if you eat the whole thing. This is why it's important to pay attention to serving size and how many calories is in something. All very calorie dense stuff. I wasn't eating very much, but I was eating a lot of calories, and some whole foods are still calorie dense, like avocados and even whole grain breads and whatnot, but they keep you fuller longer. Healthy fats are good for you. Your brain needs healthy fat. This is why I like eating balanced, because your body does need carbs, proteins, and fats to function at optimal levels, and we don't realize it. My calorie dense foods were whole grain bagel, avocado, nuts, my sugary coffee. Used to be really addicted to sugar. I still am a little bit, but I noticed as I heal my mental health, I crave it less. I used to go through periods in the month, so like in a 4-week cycle, there would be like a week where I would just crave sugar, it would be chocolate or candy or whatever. I still maintained my weight loss when I did that, but it's not the healthiest. And granola and peanut butter. So sauces and peanut butters are very calorie dense. One measured tablespoon of peanut butter is 90 calories. My mindset before, a tablespoon to me was a heaping tablespoon, which was actually between 2 to 3 tablespoons, not an actual tablespoon. So if you actually want to do fat loss or do weight loss, it's important to measure. It's a little bit of a pain, but it's worth it. I cut out my second coffee in a day, so that's 240 calories. I cut back my granola. I used to split my granola, so I'd have a third of a cup of one type of granola, and then I would have a third of a cup of grain-free granola. Both were calorie dense, but one was low sugar. So I went down to a third of a cup initially, but now I'm at 1/8 of a cup. I still have the granola in like my yogurt, but it's way less. And if I need more volume to keep myself satisfied longer, then I will just add more berries, because berries are very low in calories. If I have eggs for dinner, I was having an over easy egg on a whole grain bagel, and the bagels are calorie, and then an egg on the side. I'm not that hungry at nighttime. When I get home from work, I usually am starving, so I'll have my apple with peanut butter, depending on what day it is. Like I may do a workout after, and I'm not that hungry for dinner. I cut it down to like either half of a bagel or one slice of toast is what I'm doing right now. I did do spinach with it yesterday. Also, I started doing this. So there is a social media influencer that I was watching, and her stomach had bloated out all of a sudden. Like she's got a pretty like ripped stomach. She focuses on core work, and she had her stomach bloated out, and she took this vitamin, and her stomach went flat in 5 or 6 hours. So I went and did some research, because my belly has been bloating out for the last few years. I want to say at least 3 years. My stomach's been bloating out quite a bit. It never used to do that, and it definitely has to do with the foods that I'm eating. But she took the supplement. It's not available in Canada, so I went to look at the ingredients that were in it, and I found this. It's funny because the one that she was taking had milk thistle, schisandra, turmeric, and fennel seed. The one that I found in Canada just didn't have the fennel seed, but fennel seed apparently messes with your hormones. So I started taking this as well. My stomach stopped bloating out for the most part. If it did, it was just a little bit. So I actually finished off the bottle now, and I've switched. I don't think I've talked about it on YouTube, but I've talked about it on my TikTok. So what happened is, a week into my mini cut, and it actually has nothing to do with the mini cut. It has to do with my stomach health. So this is why it's important to take care of your health. I ate like shit for most of my life into my 30s, and still in my 30s had moments where I still was eating crappy in moments, but just not all the time anymore. And then when I injured my neck, if you know, 2.5 years ago, I herniated a disc in my neck, compressed the nerve that runs down my shoulder blade dropped out of place. It's still not where it's supposed to be. And I was in so much pain. I had already done enough damage to my stomach. I was having stomach acid issues, but not like as much. When I injured my neck, I was on a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory that was prescribed called meloxicam. I think 7.5 milligrams, but I only took it when I had a flare-up of my joints, or I was in a lot of pain, and that was it. So it was rarely. When I injured my neck, they upped my dose to 15 milligrams, and I took it every single day. And if you know anything about ibuprofen anti-inflammatories, they actually do damage to your stomach over a long period of time. This is why you're only supposed to use it when you really need it, not all the time. But because I was in so much pain from my neck, I was taking it every single day. And then I noticed that my stomach actually got worse. This is the issue that I've been dealing with. I actually had already started doing this, so this is what makes me really mad. If you have acid reflux problems, you have to like omit or significantly reduce anything that causes excess stomach acid, or any habits that cause excess stomach acid, because it'll start damaging your throat over a sustained period of time. And I had already omitted garlic and onions. I did have a few times where I was eating strawberries, so strawberries you're supposed to stay away from. I was trying to keep my coffee, so I was fine with 1 cup of coffee just because I get protein milk. So I started getting the medium so that the coffee was more diluted. Also, you're not supposed to eat tomatoes. I started getting this Rouse sensitive marinara so that I could still have pasta. It is pH balanced, so it uses carrots and celery to pH balance it out so it doesn't cause stomach acid issues, and I was really good for a bit. And then all of a sudden, a week and a half ago, I don't know what happened. Something made my stomach so my stomach was pretty good. It was pretty flat. It wasn't bloating out anymore, and my stomach blew up. I looked like I was 5 months pregnant. Like, that's how much it blew up. I know exactly what I ate right before that happened, but I don't know why, because it was all stuff I had already consumed before. I don't know if it was a combination of things or what happened, but I literally had a few walnuts, a slice of dried sweetened mango, and I was having an electrolyte drink because I was feeling a little bit dehydrated. So my stomach bloated out. I got sharp pains in my stomach. I ended up passing out on my bathroom floor, and I don't know if you can see it. There's still a little bit of a bruise there, so I must have hit my bathtub on the way down. It's like really crazy. So it's called a vasovagal syncope. Essentially, the amount of pain I was in from my stomach, which is less than a herniated disc, by the way. So I kind of laugh about it a little bit because I was like, why can my body handle so much fucking pain in my neck, but it can't handle stomach pain? I've had that amount of stomach pain before, like a long time ago when I was a kid, because I like shit back then. I had that pain like quite often when I was younger, and it's crazy. So essentially, my parasympathetic nervous system goes into fight or flight when I'm in extreme pain in my abdomen area, and all the blood rushes to my legs. My blood pressure drops massively and I pass out. It hasn't happened to me in 4 years, and I knew what triggered it 4 years ago, and it was definitely stomach stuff. I've completely shifted how I eat since then. I didn't go to the hospital right away. I was at like 10 o'clock at night. I don't know how long I was passed out for. The doctors asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. I didn't look at the time. I just wanted to go to bed in case I was gonna pass out again. I just really wanted to go to bed. And then I woke up at like 3 a.m. and there was, so that I don't do too much TMI, I definitely was bleeding from my digestive tract somewhere. Because I was bleeding, I went to the emergency room and I spent 11 and a half hours at Emerge, which is crazy. I'd never been to Emerge in London, Ontario. I've only been there in Thunder Bay, and the longest I ever waited was 4 hours. The longest I ever been in the Emerge was 4 hours there. 11 and a half. I didn't see a doctor until 8 hours in. Doctor thought I had appendicitis. Asked me when the last time I ate was. Good, like I don't want you to drink anything or eat anything in case you have to go for emergency surgery. And I was like, please don't let it be appendicitis. That's all I was thinking. The healthcare system here is crazy. I don't want to live here anymore. Actually, everything that I've experienced here has been fucking crazy. So many things. I just can't. The city is not for me. I got sent for an ultrasound and they couldn't find my appendix on the ultrasound. So they actually needed a CT scan to find out if it was my appendix that was inflamed. And they ended up just sending me home. I guess the doctor said because of my blood tests that my white blood cell count and my inflammatory markers, if it were appendicitis, would be higher. So they weren't gonna do a CT scan. We still have time, she says. It's so funny because no attention was paid to where the pain actually was, because it was traveling through my digestive tract. I could feel it. Like I was literally sitting at Emerge for 11 and a half hours. There's a sharp pain like started on one side, and then there was burning, cramping pain going through my lower abdomen. I was bleeding still again the next day, which was crazy, fucking crazy. So essentially I've had to cut a couple of more things out of what I was eating. So I didn't drink coffee for like 4 days, I think. The doctor told me to go back to eating regularly, but but I was like really scared to. I didn't feel good. I felt like shit. So I really was paying attention to what I was eating. So essentially I can't eat avocados right now. I noticed those irritate my digestive tract. Based on my symptoms and everything, and since, you know, the doctor's not going to help me, I try to take care of my health myself. This is why I think it's important for you to take care of your health, because the healthcare system, like, we're in Canada, we have universal healthcare. That is a blessing, but they keep cutting at the hospitals, which is bullshit, because more and more people get sick. More and more people are getting sick and injured. I've noticed that in this world. It's like fucking nuts. And then you have people that go there for literally nothing. It's crazy. I have had a few great doctors here. When I've gone to St. Joe's Urgent Care, which I wish, if I wasn't bleeding, if I didn't think it was an actual emergency, I would have just gone back to sleep and went to St. Joe's Urgent Care, because I would have been in and out in 2.5 hours, but I didn't think I was gonna be there for like half of a day. I'm gonna tell you guys what else I just started doing. With my mini cuts, I lost 3 pounds and 2 inches off my waist. I wanted to tell you guys exactly. On June 3rd, I was 152.4 pounds and my waist was at 33.5 inches. So this is day 1. Week 2, day 1, that's June 10th, I was at 153.8 pounds. So I gained 1.4 pounds, but my waist was at 32.5 inches. I lost an inch off my waist.
Since filming this, I actually went down to 147 pounds, week 4, down to a 31-inch waist.
So this is why you can't solely focus on your weight, because there's so many factors: what you ate, how much water your body is retaining. There's so many factors. If you ever are on either a weight loss or a weight gain journey, only weigh yourself once a week and at the same time of day, preferably the same day, because we don't want you to obsess about your weight. We don't want you to obsess about your weight, because that's not helpful. The reason why the same time of day is because you will weigh more at different times of the day based on your water intake and your food intake. Week 3, June 17th, I was down to 149.4 pounds and a 31.5 inch waist. I'm back to eating the same as I was, and I have been. I only had 2 days where I really wasn't eating exactly the same. That's not gonna do very much. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing for my stomach now. So I did some research. I like to do research because I am trying to now heal my guts on my own. I went and got these supplements. The first one I got was Akkermansia. It's a prebiotic and probiotic. It also helps rebuild the gut barrier and your intestinal lining. This is where, while I was in Emerge, I did a lot of research because I was there for so fucking long and I wanted answers. Obviously, you have to be careful when you use things. I'm not a hypochondriac. I'll go research things and look up things and possibilities, mostly so that I can do like preventatives as I can in case it's something. Based on the color of the blood, it was more likely in my small intestines is where it was coming from, which also makes sense why the pain and burning was coming from where my small intestines are as well. So I decided to take this. It's probiotic. The thing with the supplements that I'm taking is that they do interfere with medications. So I'm not recommending them. I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing. They do interact with several medications, including diabetic medications. So I'm not on anything. I don't take things except for I take a lot of vitamins and I take creatine and collagen. That's what I do. Always check drug interactions. Always talk to your healthcare practitioner before you take any vitamins or supplements, because your health matters. The first day I started taking this, my gut already started to feel better. I am still having irritations with things, obviously, like avocado. The more you omit from your diet, the more you notice things when you do eat certain things. So that's first step. Second step, I waited until I was done my liver health vitamin before I started taking this. I wasn't sure if this was making me nauseous. It didn't this morning, so that's great. So this is called NAC. This is level 2 liver detoxification. They use it to flush the acetaminophen out of your liver. Both of these work together to help improve your gut lining. So we'll see what happens, because I've been having gut issues for a long time. It's making me mad that I have done so many things to try and help improve my gut. We're gonna see what happens now with the bloating too. The bloating went down significantly after I started taking that liver health vitamin, and now we're switching to NAC. So we'll see what happens. You can make such small adjustments to what you're eating to lose weight, to lose fat, and the calorie dense items are what you need to pay attention to. If you want to eat the same volume of food, all you have to do is do a swap for something, like how in my yogurt I cut back the granola significantly, and if I want more volume I can add more berries. It's going to keep my belly full longer and the calories are low. So I want y'all to know it doesn't have to be super hard. You don't have to starve yourself. You can just swap calorie dense items in what you're eating to make cuts. Sugary coffee doesn't fill you up obviously, but I like it. It brings me joy to my day. It helps me focus. When you take creatine, you're actually only supposed to have 1 large cup of coffee a day anyway. It literally says that. I am back doing everything that I was doing before, and we'll see. Obviously the mini cut's helping because I've slimmed 2 inches off my waist is quite a bit, and you know, on Wednesday I'm gonna weigh myself again and we'll see if I've lost any more. I hope you enjoyed my video. Sending you love and light.